Hello, and welcome to Red Moon Roleplaying, where today we will be doing the Session 0 of our new KULT story. And we will be doing this following the Setting Up the Story chapter in the KULT Core Rulebook. And I'm really happy to be joining you today. I will be your GM, Matthias, and joining me today as players are, of course, my dear friends, Craig. Craig, how are you doing?
Yes.
Very good. And Hjalmar?
Hello, very, very nice to be joining this. I always love going deep into like the original, how are rules intended to be used kind of thing, you know, like, sometimes you just play a game and you play a bit loosely, especially with a game that you've played for a bit, and this is essentially what we started out with KULT. So I think it's really fun that we are going to go in and do it. Okay, let's do it by the book and see what happens.
Indeed, we have been, up until now, I think, been quite focused on scenarios of various kinds, although we do have a bonus campaign that we've been running on Patreon with Craig as the GM that has been also kind of following this general approach. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, do check Sliding Rooms out, which you will find on our Patreon on the $5 level. All right, but with that in place, let us now then begin and see if we can set up our story. And there's a number of questions that we'll be going through in order to decide where we're playing, who we're playing, and a little bit around the themes that we'll be exploring together. We'll start out with the first question, which is, are there any particular themes that you would like to explore in this story? Or would you like the characters to determine what we will be running the story around? And if you do want a theme, do you have a theme in mind? Anything that you have thought of?
I will start, because yes, I have actually, and in this case, I would like to delve into the idea of my future self. You know, where does Hjalmar want to go as a person, and not taking a horror scenario necessarily into account, but you know, how would it be to play a character that has established a family? Because I don't have a family. I haven't gotten that way in life. I would like a theme around family, at least for my character. I would love to play a character that has a happy relationship and with one or a couple of children, and see how that goes. I mean, and I know where we're playing here, so I don't. If this goes horribly
I was going to say, this sounds lovely so far.
Yes, I will just get Matthew on the call, and then he can take over the GM duties, and you will regret that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's something that I would love as a kind of start, and then of course, depending on whether we play sleepers or not, if we play aware archetypes, which we'll come to later in a question, of course, something bad will have happened already. If we play sleepers, it could be all fun and games with roses. But that's something that I would love. A bit of family theme for my character, at least.
Indeed, family. That sounds very interesting to delve into, for sure. Craig, do you have something to complement that with? Or would you also like to delve into family? What do you think?
Craig gets to DM lots and lots of KULT games for my lovely patrons, which means I've kind of covered all the themes, so many themes, so I'm kind of fine with anything, really. I mean, I'd like to explore a theme that Matthias wants to explore, because he's the DM, and I like the DM having their initial theme, but maybe also the character I have in mind, perhaps they could also establish the theme, because they have a bit of a theme going on, possibly, so it'd be interesting to see that interpreted by the GM. So that's my concise answer.
All right, but I actually really like the idea of delving into the topic of family, and I think that there's a lot of exciting stuff that we can do connected with that. And certainly then, Craig, whatever you bring in via your character, we can use this kind of spice on top of that general theme. So with family in mind then, where do we want to be in the world? What location do we want to choose?
I'll go first. Where you feel comfortable DMing. Because I like the locations where I feel comfortable. I feel a little anxious when someone wants a location I know nothing about, and even though I study it a bit, I feel a bit like, oh, do I actually know how it works? Hence, London comes up a lot.
I would be very happy to research whatever place you would like to play in, because I actually find that part of the whole thing quite fun as well, to learn about a place like Hamburg that I've never visited before. You know, that was a fun part of the Black Madonna, for example. Hjalmar, do you have a place in mind that you would like us to visit as part of this, or where you would like to set?
something like a medium-sized town, maybe. Rather than a big city life. Mm-hmm. I like village or small town or something like that. I think would be interesting. It could be something that does exist that we do know. We could do something in France. No, just because you mentioned Germany, or we could be, in.
Do you see it being America, or do you see it being Europe? That's maybe a good question, because that affects things quite a lot. Because especially around family, family values and the family under attack, all these things are of course a big thing in American politics right now, and that would of course impact probably the story that we have. Whereas in Europe things are a little bit different. Also similar topics can come up though. Which one would you prefer?
But just throwing something out there, how about like Alaska or Canada or something?
It might. I had a character who kind of maybe liked civilization, but to be fair, they could maybe be on holiday or traveling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, but tell me, did you have anything in mind there? Did you think?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was more like city-based things, but I also do quite like the idea you're saying of small places. Because I think small places can be quite atmospheric.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a small town. It could be a medium-sized town, and maybe your character longs to get back into the real big city and isn't very happy.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
If you would like to do Alaska, I mean, Alaska is quite wilderness, but there is, of course, if you're talking about sort of larger cities there, or sort of slightly bigger places, then you have Anchorage, which is about 300,000 people. Which is, a proper city. It's not like massive necessarily, and it's still very much wilderness. I think if we were to go with Alaska, then of course the wilderness does need to play quite a lot into it, because that's really what that place is all about. It's about, you have this city, sure, but it's a lot about like daring to venture out into the forest, especially in winter, right? It's quite dangerous, and you really need to know what you're doing. So it would, I think, color things quite a lot if we went with that. Is that something you would be interested in, or would you rather have it be somewhere in like the Midwest, kind of like a more normal place? What do you think?
You see, for me, these are all hard questions because I'm like character first, then locations and things. But I like them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun playing it like this too. And then you can like, if you think in Midwest, like Minnesota and stuff, where it's like, maybe you get a slightly less barren feeling, but still very foresty, if you like. Yeah. I think something like that, perhaps. I don't think I can put together that amazing Midwest accent, but you
wouldn't have to.
How about that? That could be fun. I'd love that. Redwoods and stuff. Right now I found Redwood Falls in Minnesota. It's 5,000 population. Looks amazing. It's gorgeous. They have a slide.
It seems like the redwoods are now basically unique to coastal California and Oregon. So I mean, Oregon could be one. So Pacific Northwest. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff.
Sorry, anyone, if I have misconceptions there about what exists where. So I haven't been enough in that.
But what would you say about Oregon? Because I mean, then you have the whole Twin Peaks vibe. You can kind of work a lot of that in there. There will be a lot of nature, and there are still cities. There are still places that are decently big.
Yeah, and a medium-sized city in Oregon. Yeah.
All right. Are you thinking like a fairly... Because, I mean, Oregon as a state is kind of also divided between the very progressive cities, and then you have towns that are a little bit more conservative. What do you feel there? Is it a progressive or a conservative place?
I don't mind too much about that. I'm not interested. I feel like I've played a lot with... conservative versus progressive characters, and I played a fair few like controversial characters, and that's for me, for what I want to play this time. I don't think that really comes into play, so I don't mind too much. How about you, Craig?
Yep, no, all these things I'm very happy for the DM to tell us as we play, and then I go,
right.
The character I have in mind probably isn't too concerned. Well, he might not be concerned about what other people think.
Plenty of people who really don't care either way, are just trying to live their lives. All right, so when are we then? If we are in Oregon, are we current dates? Are we pre-pandemic? Are we, I don't know, early 2000s, around 9/11? Are we where are we?
For some of the characters that I have in mind, I have a few ideas. I think fairly recently post-pandemic would be interesting. Somewhere where we've gotten out again, out of isolation, and we remember it as very recent, all the things that we have to do. But I think that for me would be interesting.
All right. Craig, what about you?
I'm the same. I feel unless you actually have something fun you want to explore time period wise, like 1900s style
or 70s, 80s and stuff. Like
or maybe like 1750. Just like mix it up a little. No, I feel unless you actually have a specific plan, I'm fine with just modern times. Especially because I feel sometimes if the history isn't actually vital to the story, like a lot of stories are timeless. To a point, especially cult stories. Like it could be, will the story be that different in 2000, 2010, 2020? If it's about the characters and not about like an actual event, I think it's the other way around. If like you want to actually, your story's about like something quite specific, like the American Gold Rush, for example, then of course that matters. I'm good. I'd be fine with what Hjalmar says on that one, unless Matthias, there is a time period you were intrigued by. Of late.
No, I think that you can't really go wrong with going current date, and it certainly makes it easier in many ways in terms of you don't have to think about, did they have that kind of smartphone back then or not? It's you know what you have right now. So okay, we are current date then in somewhere in Oregon in a mid-sized town. All right, then we are going to choose archetypes. So then the question is basically, yes, do we want to start as a wearer or do we want to start as sleeper? We will be running roughly 4, maybe 5 sessions, let's see. So it's not going to be like a massively long campaign. The awakening, so to speak, from sleeper to wearer can, of course, happen quite quickly if you would like, or it can be something that happens towards the end. It really depends on what you would prefer there in terms of what state you would like to begin in.
I am a fan of a wearer. I mean, okay, as you said, maybe if it's a short one, it's a short one, but I feel we've done plenty of sleepers of late, and I'm in the mood for skipping maybe the initial, oh my god, spooky stuff, I don't believe it. Like maybe this time my character will be a little more, okay, let's investigate the spooky stuff rather than disbelieve it for 3 sessions. I mean, I like that, I feel I've done that a few times lately.
Yeah, certainly. That sounds fun. Let's do that. Let's be aware characters.
All right, aware it is. All right, then our next question is around dark secret. So, since you are aware, that means that you do have a dark secret. And then the question is, would you like to have a shared dark secret? Really then connecting you very clearly from the beginning, or do you have separate dark secrets?
I mean, I have an answer, but what's your answer first, Hjalmar?
Okay. Interesting. So you got something. I was think, almost the same. Like I wanted to see what Craig says. I've various ideas in mind, but something that's growing stronger and stronger in my mind. And this is also fun because this is definitely me, Hjalmar, experimenting with where he is on his way in life. I was half thinking that I was actually going to play a doctor.
Ooh.
And just looking at the scientist archetype, one of the suggestions for Dark Secret is responsible for medical experiments. And if we were to tie this together, we could make me responsible for medical experiments, and we could make Craig a victim of a medical experiment. That's just something that.
That could be good. That could be good. I did because my idea was again, like I think also I like separate dark secrets, sure. just because I do like shared can work, but sometimes having the difference, it's fun just to get like aha, what's your thing? But funnily enough, my one before we even mentioned you liking family, remember family? I wanted the heir dark secret. And I wanted to inherit something. Now that doesn't necessarily not mean the experiment stuff couldn't work as well.
So what is the heir?
Heir is I have inherited something. Either a item, a secret, an obligation. Yeah. So I've been given it, and now I have to deal with it. That is the general.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had that too much in my scenarios or
No,
adventures?
I've never had that one before.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Let's definitely bring that in then. That's fine.
And I thought, again, with the family aspect, as you were saying
Oh, yeah,
earlier,
absolutely.
yes, that's...
There's a lot to
Because
keep it going
I was thinking of the descendant as the archetype. So there we go. Right?
Yeah.
Double family whammy, yeah.
Definitely. That is certainly a good take on family from two different directions. So do you feel like that would work then? So we have a doctor that has done some medical experiments, and then we have a descendant who's going to be an heir to something that we will work into the story, yeah?
I think those could go well. I like Dr. Yama. You haven't done Doctor before. No, that'd be nice.
I don't think I've been scientist.
We haven't seen that one much. I don't
I think you've been a bit of an academic. You have done an academic or two. Like your character in the King's...
Downfall.
And also Kingsmouth Minotaur? Kingsmouth Minotaur? Is that what it's called?
Yes, the Kingshaven Minotaur. Yes, in Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah. That was Call of Cthulhu.
That was fun. But yeah, not a doctor. Yeah. And yeah, in this case, I might be and I was thinking of being a sort of a collector or antiquarian.
Yeah.
Not of books this time or paintings, but just general artifacts. Maybe that's what. Yeah, but let's see. But yes. Heir. Let's be an heir. I can write that down.
Great. So then we have the Dark Secrets. And then you're supposed to also then choose a personal drive connected to that dark secret. So if you open up the rulebook and you go to that particular dark secret, you see some suggestions there on that drive. Could you perhaps suggest which one you would like to go with?
Yeah, let's do it by the book.
All right. I can see that I'm going to read if I'm responsible for medical experiments. You were responsible for or assisted in shady medical experiments, which ended in horrifying results. Regardless of whether the subjects were willing or not, the experiments destroyed their lives and they are now dead, missing, or transformed into something inhuman. In addition to your pangs of guilt, you may be pursued by your former test subjects, their relatives, the law, former colleagues, employers, or nameless forces trying to silence you. Suggested personal drives. Avoid taking responsibility for the experiments. Seek forgiveness from subjects and or their relatives. Gather evidence to expose your former employer. Conclude interrupted or fail experiment. What does this mean? Oh, that I feel like I'm not done with it. I want to finish them. Continue researching your findings. Restore the test subjects to their former selves. Alright, so I can immediately discount the seek forgiveness. I don't want to play on guilt. I would rather play a character that feels that they've done the right thing and they're either in denial or they genuinely believe that what they did was about to be for the better, but maybe they were interrupted. Which... I don't know. Those two can be the same thing: denial or you know. So either I want to continue the experiments, but I can't because the person was stopped, or I want to just avoid taking responsibility for what happened. What do I think is fun? Any thoughts there?
Well, I mean, one of them is going to see you basically trying to continue the experiments. Basically, would still be in the process kind of doing it. Whereas if you're avoiding taking responsibility, then this is more about you trying to avoid it being revealed, avoid it affecting your family, avoid it kind of messing with the rest of your life. So it's two different.
Either way, it could be like media harassment or courts,
could be
like involvements with the law. Yeah, and I feel maybe I want to conclude and they're interrupted or failed experiments. I would like to see this. I want to see this done because I believe what we were doing, whatever it is, I haven't decided yet, was right. And it's very frustrating that we can't do that.
So we then have the drive for the medical experiments. If we then look at the drive for air, what do we have there?
Well, would you like me to read it all out as well, or just pick the one I want?
Well, yeah, so I mean, basically it's what you talked about, right? That you've been granted a unique inheritance, and the suggested personal drives is to discover the truth about your inheritance, protect it.
Protect the inheritance, investigate what happened to previous owner of inheritance, confront those who seek to acquire your inheritance. I am going to want to protect my inheritance. It is mine. Whatever it is, it's mine. I'm keeping it. It's great. I will die for it.
Right. Protecting, and I mean, of course, protection of something that's important to your family and that's been in your family for a long time, for example. I mean, I can definitely see that there's something that we can do with that. Okay, very good. So we have our drives then set. Then we move on to choosing disadvantages. And which disadvantages would you like to choose? And here, since you have chosen archetypes, it's of course kind of easy to use the ones that are suggested, but if you would like to go with something else, that's of course also possible.
That's really fun. I'll just say that before we go on, that this is really fun because it is actually, since both the dark secrets and the disadvantages are actually just suggestions, it's fun to go this way, and then you pair them together with a possible, with the archetype.
No, I do agree. There are definitely advantages to doing it this way. I think sometimes we've only not done it. I think sometimes we've only not done it because I think for some scenarios, so but you think about like some of the scenarios, the premise are kind of like, oh, you're these sort of characters. Mm-hmm. So going through every single step, there's like, oh, the dark secrets might not have much time to come up if it's a one night at a haunted house kind of deal. But yeah, definitely when you're playing it like this, yeah. What do you think, Yama? I think I could go, but you could go.
Now that we think about it this way, I was like, part of me wants to just break free from the archetype page, and I feel like, I could just go for something that's straight out of the chapter for disadvantages.
Do it.
I'll probably won't. But the first thing that I see when I go to disadvantages, the first one I see is bad reputation, and that just feels like an almost easy pick if I've done experiments that have gone wrong.
So then it's kind of known that you have been doing some bad things.
Yeah. And that's fun to that could cause all kinds of trouble or everywhere in public. So why not just go with bad reputation?
Bad reputation. Then, all right.
And I'm going to need one or two more, yeah?
Yes, you have 2 disadvantages.
Yeah. Choose 2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's dark secret. We can do one or more. But I'm gonna have a little short look here. Craig, do you have anything in between?
I confess I quite like having a list to choose from, because sometimes it just means I can look at that list and focus on those rather than look at all of them. The classic conundrum. Cursed or haunted? On paper, they can sound very similar, but at the same time, they're not. They're technically quite different. They just... so what do people think? I was leaning slightly towards... Because I feel cursed is more physical things happen often to other people kind of stuff. It's not just bad things happen to you, it's a bit more like you're cursed, like, like loved ones have problems, or your best friend falls over, or a building you're in gets caught on fire. While haunted is more just you. I feel haunted is more, and also more specifically targeted, like there's a thing haunting you. I feel that's the difference. What do you guys think?
Haunted feels very much like a presence, doesn't it? It feels like something is there trying to do something with you, whereas when you're cursed, it's more like you're almost a beacon for something. Like you could attract things to you, or accidents, strange things that happen around you. So it kind of depends. Like, do you like the idea of an entity having something in mind for you, or is your character generally? Is it more about your character? Being like weakened, like in a state that
I like entity because I think Matthias is due teasing me with an entity because I've been teasing him with entities for several adventures now. He's waiting for his cupboard moment.
Yes, the cupboard is coming. All right, haunted.
So I think haunted is a good starter, and let's go with good old fashioned repressed memories because it's just fun. It's just a fun one. It's a fun. The DM can come up with something, and I want to say it didn't happen, but it did. So there we go. Haunted. I'm a man who's a haunted man, and I'm repressing something. It might even be linked to my family.
One might even say that. Yes. Very good. You have 2 really good disadvantages that are easy to work with there. So Hjalmar, then you have. We confirmed that we have bad reputation, and then what else would you like to have? There's of course experiment gone wrong, which is very directly connected, but we could go with something completely different also, because experiment gone wrong kind of implies that it's a person that's out there being a monster kind of and attacking and things like that. And I don't know if that's the direction you want to take or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, as like I immediately start thinking about a Dean Koontz novel that I really like called Watchers, which is just about this sort of experiment gone wrong. And it's fun because if you look at the scientists, the first two suggested disadvantages are bad reputation and experiment gone wrong. But it also feels like something that I haven't really played with. And I like this. I like the kind of rift in my drive. I want to continue this. And I may or may not know that something is out there, but if I met it, and if maybe I do know that there's a person that we were doing certain things to that we're not finished because maybe we got interrupted by bureaucracy or something else, and I want to help this person, but at the same time this person is out to get me. I think that could make for some interesting encounters. Yeah, shall we just do that? Shall we go with experiment gone wrong?
Then that it is. Bad reputation and experiment gone wrong.
I think that might be one of the ones which, like, because of the way when they recommend them, this might be one of the only archetypes that has that. You know, and then when you're looking through the big list, you see all the ones you played loads before, and there's always like ones like this. Like, yeah, I've never seen experiment gone wrong, so that could be very interesting.
All right, so then we have taken the disadvantages and we have gone through that part, which then takes us to our advantages. And here you are to choose 3 advantages. And there are some from the list that you can take, and of course it's also possible to look elsewhere if you would like.
I've got 3 already.
Very good. Which ones have you chosen?
Well, one, okay, maybe this might, because now this is the one that depended on the where we were, because I was thinking of having influential friends.
Yep.
Could I have influential friends in Oregon? Maybe.
Of course, yeah. Absolutely.
Because I'm thinking of being a sort of, well, you know, if I'm a collector, as it were, you know, I know people, I know other
makes
collections.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, sort of like, so I know how to get, so let's go with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I've only had this in one game, and we didn't get to really start that one properly, but it's one of the cool ones, you know, because there's things like Bound and Inner Power here, and, you know, we've done Bound, we've done Inner Power.
Yeah.
We haven't done Artifact. I want an Artifact. I want a magical thingamabob that maybe will do my soul.
And that goes naturally together with air, if you like.
Yes. It might even be that is the artifact in question, who knows?
I think that could be fun. And Artifact's an interesting one. It's very much a sort of like, even on 15s, it's still in the DM's control. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like I ask it to do something, and then the DM goes like, sure, either yes, maybe, or no. So there we go. So that's Artifact. And so Artifact, influential. Charismatic is a different one. Influential friends. It's misspelled correctly on my screen. And then I thought, I'm probably not a violent man, or a man who's good, you know, the violence rating may be low, but what if, and this could be a double one, because maybe this helps Yama out as well, what if there's Watchers involved? The Watchers, you know, which are like, there are some people who want to protect me from harm. But maybe there's a cost, eventually.
Yeah. Maybe someone that has followed the journey of this artifact or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or maybe even people who you choose artifacts for scientific experiments. It could all be connected! Oh my god!
Yes, this could certainly work.
So yeah, Watchers, who, you know, are the nice, like, they'll help me out when in danger until they, you know, every time I do it, DM gets hold, and then you can use the hold to make them do things against me if I don't agree with their agenda.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's good. So then we have your advantages there. Hjalmar, what about your advantages?
I haven't really gotten that far with it, but so let's have a little look. I like battlefield medicine, like that I can actually stabilize wounds because normally we have to always go somewhere to have that done, or have it done in a special kind of circumstance kind of way. And it's not only that; it gives certain other fun side effects depending on how that goes. So I think that could be fun.
So you're a medical doctor, right? Then, and would you say that when we say then battlefield medicine, do we want to put that sort of military part in it, or is it simply that you're a very competent doctor and you can treat these kinds of injuries in the field very easily?
Yeah, I feel like I don't really know how battlefield comes into this. I feel like it's more the competent doctor side of it for now, or at least what I can think of straight away. So I think just go with me being able to do that.
Yeah, you're just a civilian doctor.
See if we end up in,
Very good. So we have battlefield medicine then.
And then I'm thinking so other things that would be interesting would be something that is not necessarily within the reason attribute or associated with it. I like the idea of having something kind of soul there as well, and the choices that we have with our soul are enhanced awareness, genius, and implanted messages. Implanted messages I experimented with a little bit in one of our thing. I think I did a thing on Craig. That was the only person I ever used it on. So that's not where I want to go. Enhanced awareness we've used a lot. I like the idea that my character is somehow soulful despite this, because like when I was trying to think of an archetype, I had 3 options in mind, and one was the scientist, go for a doctor. The one was a crazed yoga teacher, or like kind of obsessed, and I was even thinking of doing it like a fanatic at that point, and particularly post-pandemic, I think that could be quite interesting, being very convinced that you can help and treat everyone, and at the same time trying to balance this family life that I had in mind. So I think what I have left from that idea is that I still want something that is kind of spiritual, not necessarily in that kind of way, but a connection with that. And enhanced awareness, let's talk about that one again. It's about certain places, right? It's that you can sense. It's not necessarily if something is strange with the place. And it's like if you take my my experimentation into account. Yeah, because I looked at that one, and I also looked at Genius, which is kind of a cool one, that I can do things in life-threatening situations.
Seems definitely quite useful. Huh?
Yeah, and then there is Inventor, but that's a reason one. We can create and repair things, which is also kind of interesting. What's Workaholic? Gain stability when you create things or carry out experiments.
Well, that's nice.
That's a fun one. That's not associated with an attribute, but that does sound fun, because it's like fun if we can sort of have this a little bit around my character being obsessed with his work.
You don't have to spend time with your family to get back stability. You can do it by experimenting on someone instead.
Exactly. Whoever that is.
I love how I just remembered that. Oh yeah, he also wants to be a happy family man with children. This crazy scientist guy. Darling, I'll be back in. No, but yeah, maybe he hides it.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
I don't want the character to be necessarily obsessed with these experiments and the work that he's doing, but he does get very into the job when he is at work, but then he does clock out at reasonable hours and comes back. So I think that I think Workaholic is fun, and then I'm thinking either Enhanced Awareness, Genius, or Inventor. What do you guys think?
I think it'd be fun with Genius. I don't think we've really used that one, so that could be kind of a cool thing to be able to use in quite a lot of different types of situations. So,
yeah, and it's also like this is the dark side coming out as well here, because I can see what it does. It gives you one of the options is that it makes you rational. You realize how to save yourself by sacrificing someone else. Yay!
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go with Genius. That's fun.
All right. Great. So then we have set your advantages then, yes? Very good. Then next up we have attributes. And we don't have to do all of these right now, so please just think about like where you want to be strong and where you would like to prioritize less. We can do that off the air. What we then have is a name. So I would like you to choose a name, and here you can go with whatever feels right. You're in the United States, so you could literally go with anything.
Daniel Coleman of the Colemans.
The Coleman family, yes. They are have a long and rich history in Oregon. Yes?
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, maybe at one point might have been involved with mining, but they went far beyond that.
Oh, they dug very deep.
Too deep and too greedily.
Yes. And then Hjalmar, what about your character? What's his name? Or her name?
Yeah, exactly. I haven't completely decided on the gender. I think when I was going for the crazy yoga teacher, for some reason I was thinking about being the mom as well. What do I want to have experienced? Have I given birth, That's interesting. Gosh. I don't actually know if I want to be male or female.
You did, of course, talk a lot about, wanting to explore a little bit like around your own kind of future and like what it would be if you had a family. So, if that's still something that you're interested in, then of course, doing that from a perspective that would be maybe a little bit closer to who you are now. Maybe that would be easier. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on what you.
No, I like
that.
Prefer. Yeah, that is true. Actually, I did want something that was more immediately relatable. Mm-hmm. So I think we're gonna go be a male, and we're gonna have a temporary name for now. I found one name generator. I'm gonna be Jermaine Christensen.
Okay. Now the next question then is around equipment. And is there any equipment that you have, specifically, I guess, weapons, vehicles, and specialized tools that would be good to know about here? Is there basically anything out of the ordinary that we would know? Like, do you have guns? Because you totally could. This is the United States, after all.
I don't think I have guns. I think I maybe have a nice home and nice fancy, valuable things. I'd like to have suits. Nice car. I have a nice car.
But the Watchers take care of you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Hjalmar? What about Jermaine? Does Jermaine own a gun?
Maybe I do. Do I wanna?
You could also maybe have like a home lab, like not like crazy stuff, but just like more than just like a home chemistry set, like like you actually might have some in your basement or your attic, like somewhere where you can actually do some cool experimentation stuff if you wanted to.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so some sort of home lab and how that is actually going to take shape, we can see. It's like, I probably have an office, and in that I have maybe I'll have a fair bit of the things that we used for the experiments that we are not allowed to use, but it hasn't been confiscated necessarily.
Yes. All right. So the lab then, definitely. Would you say that is your home where primarily these experiments are taking place, or is this more like kind of you doing your kind of extracurricular when you get in the zone after you've clocked out, come home, but then you decide to clock in? That's when you would use that place, right?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like maybe it's not that much in use now. I feel like I've just try and salvage as many of the things as possible that we were using, maybe at either at a hospital or a university or something that was science connected, scientifically connected, but we can't use them anymore, and I didn't want it all to be confiscated, so I might have these things at home, not necessarily illegal to have, but illegal to use in the way that we did. And so now I'm still working at work, and when I'm home, I'm a decent family man, but I still have these things, and I have access to these things at home. And like I have basic, like, a stretcher and drip IV and everything I could, if I needed to take care of someone at home. That's
you could do that.
A possibility.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good. One question I would like to ask here is then, so where is it that you work then? I mean, I can imagine a couple of different, possibilities here. It could be that you are working for a company, like a pharmaceutical company, and that the research is happening there. It could be a university, and that it's kind of that type of academic research that you have been doing. And it could also be that you are a doctor at a hospital. I think maybe the final choice could be that it's something for the government, something for the military, for example.
Yeah, I think I like the hospital idea the most, and I also think that there was a person in charge of the whole thing, and that wasn't necessarily me, and that person was, maybe fell on the hard bits of it all, actually, I don't know, got incarcerated or whatever for it, but I still believe in what we were doing, and it's unfortunate that we can't do it anymore, but I do want to continue it. And I think it's at a hospital, and now work is a little bit more mundane, but I'm still going through some processes to maybe try and get this legally approved, what we were doing. Yeah.
Very good. And Craig, when it comes to Mr. Coleman here, does he work, or is he just rich and focuses on his collections and so
yes, I think I just have money, before even we get the inheritance, and I then continue to make money via investments and procurement and selling as well.
You're one of these idle rich.
Exactly, and I add maybe some of my contacts that we have, are part of that world where, like I could be asked for advice, or my collection can
probably sit on a board here or there. It's a lot of old money.
Yeah. Yes.
Very good. Okay, well then let us move on then. In terms of age, are you young? Are you middle-aged? Are you old?
I was thinking, 37, 38, 39,
around,
getting there.
Around our
the
age,
youth is starting to fade, but that's, it takes time to actually get a reputation in this world and make it, maybe when I was like 20-something or so, my family, I also consider that at this moment in time, my family are all deceased.
Ah, right. You are the only one remaining in the only heir. What about Dr. Christensen? Are you, what age would you say that you are?
I think I'm a little bit older. I think I'm almost close to my other character that I recently played, Albert Trustville's age. I think I'm
60, 70?
Maybe not that old, actually. Maybe around 50...
Mid-50s?
54? Yeah, mid-50s.
Yeah. All right, mid-50s it is. Okay. Then, we have established a lot about your characters here. Who or what are you most passionate about? And maybe we can start with Mr. Coleman here. What is it that you're the most passionate about?
My collection, antiquity, history, preserving ideas, the concept of immortality. Not that I would live forever, of course. That's impossible, right? But ideas can live forever. Yes, and so I consider myself I consider myself a good guy. I'm doing this for the people. Hell, maybe some of my collection can go to museums and be seen by people. I'm not, it's not all just for me.
You can maybe donate it later on when you're a little bit older. All right, yeah, so it's the collection that you're the most passionate about. What about Dr. Christensen?
We're definitely passionate about my work. It's something I want to do more of, but I think let's say my family is one of my main passions. That's I do really look forward to coming home to them at the end of the day, and the things that we get up to. I like taking them places. Maybe my wife does that too, and we like to go hiking. We like to go to fun fairs. This kind of active family life kind of gig where, I was perhaps a bit more into work, but now it's like, it's important to me, and it's something that I'm working actively to pursue. But it's family life is the big thing.
Could it even be, if your family is so important to you, that these experiments are actually, in order to help someone in your family? Could it be that one of the people in your family have a particular disease that cannot be cured, and these experiments actually promise that maybe they can actually cure this disease? Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one. I love that. That is very, very nice.
Because then you have a really good reason for doing that.
Yeah, exactly, and that really strengthens the drive to conclude the experiments.
Exactly. And there will be a cost to that, but it feels like, then you know why you're doing it, and certain things are more important than others.
Like some of the people that that went through the experimentations. I mean, let's say we experimented with quite a few people, and there is a lot of data that we could have gathered from them. I mean, either people or even, I mean, it could be that we didn't go past like the animal testing phase, you know? It could be that animals are involved in this as well, and that they decided to either put them down or be held, or even, you know, if the government stepped in. I don't know what they want with our experiments, but there's a lot of data here that still is needed to be collected.
Yeah, no, but that's great. That's great. There we have something very, very good. Okay, then Dr. Christensen, you live with your family, and that much we know. You live in a house, I guess, or it's not an apartment, right? It feels like a doctor. You would live in a fairly big house. You know, you're pretty well off, right?
Yeah, exactly. With again, my own office and everything. I feel like it's on a nice street. What do you call it when they're not a row of houses, but they're separate?
Like a detached or
detached house. Yeah.
Right.
It's not like it's not away from everyone by the. It is still on a nice street.
Would it be kind of like a suburban type area, or but then again we said that it was like it's a smaller town, so yeah, suburb or in a town, but. All right, good. I think I see where that is then. What about Mr. Coleman? You have some kind of estate then, I would assume.
The family estate, and it is empty
and haunted.
And haunted, not massive. I don't have help. Funnily enough, no, I don't believe in hiring people to do my chores. I like doing chores, so no, I think I live alone in a nice, drafty house.
A lot of memories in that house. A lot of people who've lived there over the years.
Yes, right. Yes.
Where do you hang out in your spare time, Mr. Coleman?
Other people's naughty, drafty houses. You know, again, I know people. I have friends.
Would it be at like a country club? You're out golfing and doing that typical rich person stuff?
Yeah, I am a fan of museums and art galleries and operas and music places. So yeah, I know people there, and I go for fancy, especially like maybe when I was like in my 30s, Yeah.
Very good. What about Dr. Christensen? Where do you hang out in your spare time?
I think I like meeting other parents who have kids my age, doing things together, just sitting and drinking or playing games. I don't know, tennis, golf, or go. I don't know. I've got like a shooting range in my head, but yeah,
it could be.
It's America. It works.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's the family and parents that have family. I think mostly.
All right. Yeah, we could do something with that. Okay. Then, do you have a best friend, Dr. Christensen?
I mean, I think my wife is my best friend. Like the one that I share the most of my life with. Yeah. Then I have like best friends as well, I suppose. I get. I mean, do we know each other? Would we know each other? You
absolutely could know each other. I mean, you're both fairly well off in this small town, so you must have bumped into each other at, some charity events or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that happening, and, especially if your scientific endeavors involved, Yeah, I think I'd be curious. I might not be an expert, but,
I mean, experiments need funding as well, so, it's not at all impossible that Craig's character has been involved in helping to raise funds for some of these experiments.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, that's nice. You could be a family friend then, and you would know maybe of the conditions of my kids, and you want to help as well. And they
I did see myself. I mean, I gave myself charisma as my highest thing. I'm totally fine with other people's families. It's great.
Yeah. So maybe you're my kids like you as well, and we would do things sometimes. Maybe not as best friends, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that can work. But then your closest friend then Dr. Christensen would be your wife, and you do know Mr. Coleman. And Mr. Coleman, do you have a best friend? Do you have someone that we should connect into the story? Perhaps another rich person, or
But I think they're my +0, if I'm honest with you. And I definitely know them, and we go to parties. I don't love them or anything, but yeah, I have someone. How about you come up with someone for the story?
All right.
It could be fun.
We will put in someone then for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, very
But
good.
that could be that was my +0 relation, I don't mind, yeah.
Yes, and I mean, like, if you want to, when we come to the relations, then of course it's possible also to have relations with, your collection, for example. If you want to be that
I
kind
love
of
my
sort
objects,
of
yes.
antisocial type character, that can work. Okay, then we're almost there. So if you bear with me a little bit longer here, have you ever hurt another person, Mr. Coleman?
I don't think deliberately, no.
No. All right.
I'm not, again, business is business, but I think I try and be fair with people. If I've had anyone try and harm me, there might be reasons for that. Maybe the only thing is, obviously I am my home and I am haunted, so maybe that's the reason why no one ever gets too close, maybe.
Yeah, could be. Could
Yeah.
be. What about you, Dr. Christensen? Have you ever hurt another person? I mean, test subjects could be someone here, but is there anyone else that you've hurt?
I feel like, test subjects is like, that's if you would say like giving someone radiotherapy is hurting someone, then I've hurt someone, because your body takes damage from it. But I was also thinking that there was this one time where this crazy like person was coming to our place and they wanted something and they didn't want to go and they got violent and I hit him, and I still think about that sometimes because I don't necessarily like hitting people.
Do you feel bad about what you did, or have you sort of come to think that it was the right thing to do?
No, I do feel bad about that because I like that kind of facet of my person, like intentionally hurting someone. It does feel really bad, even if it's in defense. I do genuinely believe that what I would do is not for that purpose, even if it has gone wrong and it has hurt people. I don't want to. I can't see that really.
Yeah. All right. And they survived then, I suppose. You didn't kill them.
Yeah, I think the police came and
Right.
collected them.
And they
Or
disappeared
ran off.
from your life, at least for right now.
Yeah, they
Oh.
disappeared. Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Christensen, do you and your wife have sex?
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, and we have a nice time together. We do have sex. We have, we sometimes get babysitters and get a bit of time for ourselves as well.
That's
Yeah.
very nice and romantic. And you haven't felt the need to, look outside the home?
No. I want this to be the kind of, I don't know, monogamous, happy family kind of.
Scenario. Matthias is going to live what he wanted in our recent game. It was very much denied, so badly denied by Matthew.
Yes,
It's like,
indeed.
yeah.
I was prepared to move to Florida and everything. All right, so Mr. Coleman, what about you? Who do you have sex with, or do you?
I think it's been a while. Maybe when I was a younger man, but since then, the house. No, but there's someone I might like. That might be my +2 person I'm thinking, but it probably won't work, and I could never. And oh my,
Oh, so you have this unhappy sort of longing for a person that maybe they are not interested in you, or you don't know. Maybe have you told them how you feel?
No.
Oh, so it's a yearning. All right.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do with that. Okay. So, who or what do you hate most in the world? And what did they do to earn that hatred, Mr. Coleman?
That's a good one. I don't know. Who could I hate? Let's the town have some rabble-rouse.
You can think a little bit about that. Dr. Christensen, do you have someone that you hate? I mean, it could be, for example, hate the disease that you're trying to treat. It could be something along those lines, or something completely different.
Yeah, maybe that, and that ties together with unfairness in a way, how it can affect some people that really haven't deserved it, like my children. I hate the disease. Sometimes I really hate bureaucracy and legal proceedings. I know that it's needed, but I feel like and that's again unfairness. I feel like some things should be moving quicker than others when you can see that it would have a benefit. So I feel like unfairness, which is actually a very much Hjalmar tie again. I hate hate that sometimes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, going back then to Mr. Coleman, do you have an idea?
How about I hate, you know what, I hate people who are phonies. I hate people who collect things just because it's funny, or like, I'm gonna put this Mona Lisa in a swimming pool, lol. A lot of young people today, this social media world, and that's not what it's about. It's about, you revere the past. The past is not there for you.
They don't understand the significance or value the significance of these precious items that you, on the other hand, fully know just how important they are and just how much they should be revered.
Exactly, yes.
Very good. Very good. There we have it. All right, what about relationship? Are the two of you, are you 0, 1, 2? Which one would you say? Connection-wise?
I think +1 on us if you sometimes spend time with the family.
Yeah, then a +1 it is. The next step is then relations with 3 NPCs. You want to have a neutral, you want to have a meaningful, and you want to have a vital. And we have for the doctor, would you say that your wife is your vital?
Yeah.
And then, do you have a meaningful?
Yeah. Well, let's say some other dad. Now, all it comes up in my head is Hank from Breaking Bad.
Yay!
All right, that's another dad, yeah. And yeah. What do you like to do with this Hank type fellow? Is it do you drink beer and watch the game, or what do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm not. Let's say like neither of us are really sports interested, but we do drink beer. And
are you like really into beer, like really appreciating the fine aspects of this particular IPA?
Yeah, we sample. Yeah, that's it. Let's sample like really
microbrewery
stuff. Yeah.
All right. So there we have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your beer dads. Right, there we go. Yeah. And then, is there a neutral one that you would like to introduce as well? This could perhaps be someone connected with your work, with the business, with the experiments. Maybe another doctor.
But could it be the lead doctor on the experiments that since then either has gone missing or has been taken in for something, Yeah.
All right. So do we have a name for that particular doctor? Perhaps it's a lady doctor then, since you're a man.
Let's see. Oh, I love name generators sometimes. I got it as an suggestion, Tiana Whitehead, but Whitehead sounds very, very strange.
It's quite a common name, I think, isn't it?
Is it actually?
Yeah.
All right.
Whitehead family.
Sounds a little bit funny to a Swedish person, but it's quite common.
Probably that's Swedish. Yeah, Tiana Whitehead. Yeah, let's say that.
Yes. Dr. Whitehead. All right, Dr. Whitehead it is, and Dr. Whitehead is currently gone. You don't really know what happened to Dr. Whitehead.
Maybe she was trying to experiment with Schwarzkopf product.
Yes, perhaps that's what happened. All right, Mr. Coleman, who is your vital? Do we put the collection as your vital, or
the lady I like, Elizabeth Torres, and she is a restorer. She restores artwork and relics, and so she's one of those like library types. And yes.
What do you say, Miss Elizabeth Forrest?
Doris. Or Forrest is better. Actually, no, I like Forrest better. Elizabeth Forrest.
Miss Elizabeth Forrest. And is she married, or?
No.
No, she's not. All right, she's single. Very good. Is she younger than you or older, you think?
Maybe a tiny bit younger, but only like a couple of years. Like she's respectable. She's established, kind of like good at her field. Individual, yeah.
Very good. Then we want a neutral and a meaningful as well.
Yes. So the meaningful will be my aged friend. That's what I've written down. The guy, my guy who does the business. Right. I trust him. He's a good guy. He has to say he's interested in money mainly, but he also respects what I believe in, and yeah.
So he's kind of handling a lot of your business interests so that you don't have to do all of that by yourself, because of course, with all this old money, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. And then a neutral connection.
Yes, that would be the friend, the guy, again, I say neutral just because I know lots of people are very charismatic, but am I really friendly with them? Who really knows? You know, people like Germain, like that's maybe the max for me. So yeah, you know, another fellow rich enthusiast.
So then we want another. Do you have an idea for name for that? Is that also old money?
Yeah, I think so. And again, those two guys, yeah, you can tell me some names. I'm terrible sometimes with the NPC names.
We'll come up with a fancy sounding old money name. Very good. Then we actually have filled in answers for all of our questions here. And what's next then is I would like to ask you to fill in your character sheets, and you get those to me. And then we will continue to stay in touch after this call, and then we'll see how we want to develop things further. But for you listeners, the next time you will hear from us is then when we actually begin playing. And I hope you look forward to that as much as we do. You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the scenario A Hole in My Heart for KULT Divinity Lost. We have created this scenario ourselves, and this series is sponsored by Helmgast. The music was made by Atrium Carceri and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Antxon, Graham Barey, and Doug Thomson for their generous support. And would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for KULT Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play KULT with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that death is only the beginning.